Good morning. Today we're going to talk about planting citrus trees in containers. My name is Barb Malera. I'm a member of the team at Harvesting History. Harvesting History is an heirloom horticultural company that specializes in heirloom, non-GMO flower, vegetable, and herb seeds, sets and roots, sets like onion sets, roots like asparagus and rhubarb roots, potatoes, flower bulbs, heirloom flower bulbs, and in the fall, heirloom garlic varieties. We actually have one of the larger collections of heirloom garlic varieties. If you're interested in heirloom products like heirloom gardening tools, we also have a very nice collection of heirloom gardening tools. You can visit our website where all these products are available. It is www.harvesting-history.com. Today, as I said earlier, we're going to talk about planting citrus trees in containers. And we're going to talk about specifically citrus trees that you would purchase from us. For example, this is a variegated pink lemon. Our citrus trees come to you in a container like this, 4 inches in diameter, and as you can see, a good 6 to 8 inches in depth. Now, what you're going to do first is you're going to mix a soil. I would refer you to our video on the best soil mix for containers. But very briefly, the soil mix in here is 60% topsoil. You can get it at a Home Depot or a Lowe's. It is the least expensive soil that you can purchase at any of these garden centers. 60% or 6 parts topsoil, and then 20% or 2 parts peat moss. The peat moss will add more organic matter. And then finally, 20% or 2 parts compost, if you're lucky enough to have access to compost. If not, go back to Home Depot and Lowe's and get composted cow manure. The cow manure will add more nutrients. It also adds a lot of nitrogen to your soil mix. So again, the soil mix is 60% topsoil, 20% peat moss, and 20% cow manure. You are going to take, if you get a plant from us or a plant from someplace else, and it's roughly this size, you're going to take this plant and you're going to plant it in a 10 to 12 inch diameter container. 10 to 12 inch diameter container. The plant will live in this container for about 2 years, and then you'll plant it in its final home, in its permanent home, which will be an 18 inch diameter container. Now, don't try to be smart and skip a step and go straight to the 18 inch diameter container. The plants don't seem to thrive when you do that. They like to be here first and then in about 2 years into their permanent homes. Again, this is a 10 to 12 inch container. So what I'm going to do first is, I see some branches that are not helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this branch, and I really should cut this branch, but I'm not going to for now. I'm going to leave it, and I'll take that branch off probably towards the end of the summer. Then I'm going to remove the plant from this pot, and what I want you to see is the magnificent root structure that our plants have. All of our plants are grown in greenhouses. This means that instead of being grown in the Florida soil, they have less exposure to all the insects that they could get if they were being grown in the soil. And they are grown as rooted cuttings, not as grafts, but as rooted cuttings. So this is a rooted cutting. This is approximately 6 months old. We sell our plants, our rooted cuttings, when they're about 6 months old, and they have produced an absolutely magnificent root structure like you see there. So we take and we put the plant in the pot. There is approximately 4 inches of soil underneath this plant, and then I'm just going to fill it. I'm filling the pot with soil. But there's a point I want to make after I do this. I'm going to cover the top of the soil from my little pot. You don't have to worry about leaving that soil bare to the air. You can cover it. And I'm making sure, I'm pressing to make sure that this plant is anchored firmly in this soil. I don't want to bury it up to here. I want to bury it close to where it's coming out of the ground from this pot. Then what I'll do is I'll take this plant and I will soak it with water, not with fertilized water, but with water, and either put it outside if it's warm enough, or put it in a warm area of my home until it gets warm enough to put it outside. So the soil mix is 60% topsoil, 20% peat moss, 20% cow manure. You take the plant and put it in a 10 to 12 inch diameter pot. You fill the pot with about 4 inches of soil, and then remove the plant from the container that it arrived in and put it in the soil on top of that soil, and then fill the pot. It's very easy. They will be in this pot or pots like this for about 2 years, and then you're going to move them to their permanent pot, which will be an 18-inch. Sometimes you can go as big as 24-inch pot, and that's where they'll spend the rest of their happy lives with you. This is, just so you know, a variegated pink lemon. They are wonderful plants to have in your home. In the fall, they fill your home with the fragrance of blossoms, and they're just fascinating to watch throughout the year. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something about planting citrus. Again, this is Harvesting History, www.harvesting-history, and all of these citrus trees are available for purchase in our citrus collection. Thank you.